Hello, this is Kai, and today I will be talking about my design process for investigations 1, 2, 3, and 4 for my design thinking and processing project. So let's start at investigation 1, shall we? Okay, so first class we started with selecting about 40 words, and then we narrowed it down to about 20, and then from those 20 we select our teacher selected one word for us to create this whole project around. My word was murder. Very interesting word. And from that I created this mind map of a bunch of words and concepts, different things I associate with this word, and then from that I made this list of principles of art and design, and I just thought about what I wanted to use from this list and like how I wanted to incorporate those things into my project. So for example, for Unity I wanted to incorporate red, maybe yellow accents throughout the whole entire composition so that I could have that tie-in, that unity there. Another good example would be for emphasis, I wanted blood like red elements throughout to help capture the attention of the viewer, because I mainly wanted the whole other part of the project to be very just monochromatic, very white, gray, black, so I really wanted the red to stand out. And then here's some examples of some things that I used as inspiration for this project. This is actually my friend's piece right here. She used red beads as blood that hung out off of her painting for this one. I really liked that, and honestly a lot of my ideas for this particular project were based off of her painting, so hi Izzy, shout out Izzy. I also based it off of these costumes that I found on Pinterest, and then for the shapes of the like blood-like elements that I wanted in my design, I kind of based them off of like this kind of like energy, kind of like organic shape, also kind of like these shapes over here. And then for like my like main structure, I kind of wanted it to kind of have the feeling of like one of those investigation boards that you see in some like crime movies or crime documentaries. I also see them a lot on YouTube, so I was kind of basing them off of that. Moving on from those ideas and that mind map, I created these sketches or thumbnails up here. The one I ended up going with was a combination of these three. I really liked these. All of them are pretty good though, I think. These are just some different ideations that I came up with throughout this process. And then I came up with these as well, these little paper concepts. And then this is my final product, and then this is the vector image that we created on Adobe. I really like how it turned out. I think that it connects well with my final 3D model, because both of them, I kind of used like similar thought process for both, but for the 3D model I took it one step further, which is something that I learned throughout this project is, designing something that you really like and then taking it one step further by making it 3D, or just like making like a document of the time that you spent on the project, which I really liked. So yeah, then we moved on to investigation 2. We did these paper sketches, which I thought was super fun. Sorry, I have a little notebook of points that I have to hit here, but yeah, I really liked doing these paper sketches. I've mentioned this before, but I never really thought of like I was good at making stuff in 3D, but through doing these paper sketches I really learned how making stuff 3D is really helpful, especially since I want to go in the graphic design field, because and also like do a lot of product packaging. It's good for me to think of like how things look in 3D instead of just on a 2-dimensional plane, so that really helped me. And yeah, I just thought that these were really freeing to do, not very difficult. I just really liked doing them. And then this one right here is the one that I selected to make a generative content out of. So I made this little poster book cover thing, and I incorporated this design here as like a little like embellishment flair for that design. Here's some of the font that I used for this. I really liked it. Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about making this into a more finished digital piece, but then I just didn't have time. But I might in the future. Yeah, I really liked doing that part of the concept. Investigation 3, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, but these are the mood boards that I kind of came up with, and this is where we had to make all of this and take it sort of into like the 3D realm. I mainly wanted to make this 3D model kind of like a cage or like a flower bud kind of shape. And then these are my little mood board images for the inside part of like the center, because I really want to emphasize like how evil corrupts good through murder, basically. And so the inside I wanted to have this really like light blue kind of angelic color. And then this is just the mood board that I had for like all the other stuff. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory, I think. And then this is where I wrote the elements of art and design for this project. Just, line, shape, color, value, form, texture, and space. I just kind of wrote that out and then wrote next to it like what I wanted to incorporate from those things in this design. And then I came up with these free sketches for my design. A lot of them I really liked. This is kind of like what I was going for the for like some of like the little like energy bursts, I guess, inside of my design. And then these kind of show off the shape that I wanted as well. This is my actual thumbnail of my 3D model. I really liked how they turned out. I feel like honestly my actual 3D model looks kind of similar to all of them, so I'm happy about that. And then I also just drew out like the sides of the 3D model and how I wanted those to look. So yeah, just giving a little bit of like an orthographic kind of view of everything. I'm not very good at orthographic drawing, but I thought that it would be good since it is a 3D model and everything has to look different from each side. I would say that I probably faced the most challenges with this part of the process because working in 3D is, once again, something that I don't do very often, and also something that is just difficult in general, especially like building things. I feel like whenever I build something, it doesn't always go the way that I want it to, so it was a lot of trial and error for me to figure out how exactly this was going to work. So for my 3D model, I mainly decided to make it out of paper, and then I also used wood to structure it a little bit more, and then string and beads for the blood elements. But it was really difficult figuring out how to make like everything stay up right the whole time, so I was struggling with that kind of. And then yeah, here's what I came up with for my final 3D model. And then we move on to Investigation 4. Investigation 4 is the one that I'm working on right now, actually, and it's, so for my creative video, I have just decided to make a little, video showing the whole process and then reversing it. Kind of simple, but I think it's effective. And then also this video that you're watching right now. So yeah. Anyways, that's it, basically, for my, little project. I really like this project because it showed me how you can invent how you can go from one concept and then invent like a ton of different things, all leading up to a very big overarching theme. I thought it was really fun to explore that, and I feel like I grew a lot as a person or as a designer during this project because I had to constantly like rethink what I was doing and just try new things and always problem solving. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, but that's it. Bye.